Ms. Nichols, you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Young, to court today because you say he denies he's the father of your 13-month-old daughter, Sine.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say it's time for him to step up and take responsibility.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Young, you say you refuse to accept Sine because you claim that Ms. Nichols was already pregnant when you began your relationship, and you refuse to allow her to trap you with another man's baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Young, so why do you believe she's trying to pin a child on you?
Well, she doesn't like the fact that I moved on and I have a new relationship, and she's all about getting money out of me. She knows that I was treating her good. She's been lying since the first time I met her, just making my life miserable.
Have you been making his life miserable, Ms. Nichols?
No, Your Honor, I have not. He started denying my daughter before his new relationship. He actually started denying her when I moved out of his house because he was cheating.
Really?
I've known Mr. Young for 19 years. We met when we were 15 years old, and when I met him again on Facebook, you know, we automatically moved in together, you know.
That's a lie. We didn't automatically move in. She hit me up on Facebook, talking about because she'd been trying to find me, and she been wanting to see me. And as soon as she came over, she was still on the same thing she was when I first met her, trying to get back in the bed with me, like always.
Wow.
So there was no instant connection, like she said, Mr. Young?
I mean, no, there was no instant connection like that. I mean,
Your Honor,
I was getting out of a relationship, and then she hit me up like, hey, I want to come over, man. I ain't seen you in a long time. Can we hang out? So we hang out, and then
Your Honor, I was living
again.
with a roommate that was moving to Georgia, and I didn't know where I was going to go. So Mr. Young...
I didn't know a sugar daddy could be a roommate.
Mr. Young and his family member that he was living with at the time said, well, Tasha, come on and stay with us. From October 13th until October 15th, we lived together. 1 year.
An entire year?
An entire year.
And during that time, you all were having a sexual relationship as well?
Only that, yes.
You said only that?
Yeah, because it was nothing more. That's all she wanted to do.
You know, there's plenty of statuses on my Facebook where us together. He even had changed his relationship status to where we were in a relationship.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. He told me he loved me the first night that I was there. That's why he never left.
That's a lie. She didn't have nowhere to go because she was being evicted, and the guy she was staying with at the time was a sugar daddy.
I was not. No, he was not my sugar daddy, and I was not being evicted. I could not afford that apartment by myself.
She was telling this man that
I was not homeless because I have family members that would not let me be out in the street.
One at a time.
She was telling this man that she was living with, that I was her cousin.
Yes, I absolutely did.
When he was bringing her over to my house, dropping her off, and she telling me that he's just a friend of the family, but couldn't find out
no, I
he
did
was the
not.
man that she was sleeping with.
No, Your
Okay,
Honor.
wait a minute. Who is this man?
He's a friend of mine.
Do you have sex with him?
No, I do not.
You don't have
How
sex
old is he?
73.
73. Whoa. And he calls him your sugar daddy. What does he do for you?
Any and everything I ask him to.
Right, exactly.
And Your Honor, since he wants to go there, he had no problem with this man when we were hungry, and I would call him and he would bring us something to eat. You know, anything I called and asked this man for, he would come. If I needed a ride to work, because he couldn't take me. He couldn't provide me with no bus money or anything.
Hold on, so you got a little sugar from the sugar daddy too?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool.
Mr. Young, do you believe this sugar daddy is Sinead's father? Is that what you're asserting today in court?
She's the same color as him and she looks like him.
And so you asked the court to order a lie detector test to determine if Miss Nichols had slept with this particular man.
And she told me she has, Your Honor. She told me
No,
that
I didn't.
She told me she used to sleep with him before. She cut it off.
No, I did not.
What she told me. I said, because I told her, ain't no man gonna be giving her no money without him not getting nothing in return. She said,
I told him that we
he's
had
just a friend of the
sexual contact,
family.
never intercourse.
Sexual contact. What was sexual
never
contact?
Intercourse.
What's sexual
contact? Do you don't know the
contact?
difference between sexual contact
What's sexual
and intercourse?
contact? That means you sleeping with him. And she also had another young fella before that she was messing with before I got with her too. And his mama told her that she still messed with him.
It was before you.
And you were still messing with him till now.
How was I messing with him?
Still, his own mama said you still haven't left him alone.
So unless they give conjugal visits without us being married, then that's the only reason that I could be sleeping with this man.
So you believe that's why you're not Sinai's biological father, because she was intimate with other people?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
But you told him, Ms. Nichols, you never had intercourse with
Yes.
that man.
That's
and
right.
what about the other guy? Were you sleeping with him too?
No, I had broke up with that man 2 years before he came along.
Well, she said she broke up in a relationship. Don't you mess around with people?
But
means
I
you
was
sleeping with them.
broke up with him before I started messing with you, Sean.
So you was sleeping
He
with
was
him,
in
Donna.
jail. The man was in jail.
Yeah, okay.
I have not heard from this man.
Well, I heard from him constantly on Facebook telling me not to believe nothing you say, that you always sleeping around and you ain't never gonna stop messing with your sugar daddy. He himself told me that, and your
But,
family members. His mama told me, everybody done told me.
Okay, well, y'all so much talking about my sugar daddy. I haven't lied to either one of them about this man.
Yes, you did
okay?
lie to you lied to the sugar daddy about me, and you lied to me
Yeah,
first.
I lied to him about you, but I did not lie to Sean about him.
So why
You
was
said you lied to the sugar daddy about Mr. Young.
Yes, I
Because
did.
he didn't want him to get cut off.
What did you say?
I told him that he was my cousin.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Right.
If there wasn't anything romantic going on, why
He
say?
would cut my funds off.
See, about money, all about money.
Well, we asked her the question, she answered it. I mean, if it's the truth, it's the truth.
And it's just like he's sitting here trying to make me like I'm just a whore or a thought or something, and I'm neither.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. When you got pregnant, Miss Nichols, you told him?
He told me I was pregnant.
Really?
We were just sitting around, and he just kept looking at me, and I'm like, well, what are you looking at? He was like, well, you're pregnant. I'm like, yeah, right. I didn't believe I was pregnant. A couple days later, I went to the doctor, and I was pregnant.
Did you believe it was your child then, Mr. Young?
At first I did, but then when I started looking at the dates when the baby was born, the dates don't add up. The baby was due in August. She had her at the end of May, so how can that be my baby?
Hold on. Let me see if I can understand this. Miss Nichols, do you remember the night you believe you conceived?
I say around the middle of November, around the 15th, give or take.
And if you calculate this conception date, your due date would be approximately August 12th, 2015.
That was my exact due date.
And when was Sine born?
May 28th.
Right.
May 28th.
She was 11 weeks early, Your Honor.
Mr. Young, this leads you to believe this is not your biological child.
It didn't really just add up to me.
'Cause
That's how the baby was dark and she had almost all my kids have a cleft. Almost all my kids have a cleft, and none of my kids are dark skinned.
Like I told him, it's genes.
She's getting older. She's starting to look like her sugar daddy. She's starting to look like the man.
All right. I have administered a lie detector test, Mr. Young, because you believe Ms. Nichols is not telling you the truth.
Yes,
so she submitted to a lie detector test, and I have those results. Ron?
Ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Nichols, you met with a licensed polygraph examiner. When we asked you if once you began a sexual relationship with Sean, did you have sexual intercourse with anyone else, you said yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And the lie detector determined you were being truthful. Mr. Young, you seem surprised by that.
No, I don't. I'm saying wow because I already knew that. I knew that she was messing around because I told you people have been telling me that. The guy, mother of the young person she was messing with told me, and friends of her own family told me.
All right. Now, when asked if you had sexual contact with the man you refer to as your sugar daddy, you said no. And the lie detector test determined you were being deceptive.
We have had sexual contact before, never intercourse, and it was not while I was with Sean.
So does this further fuel your doubt, Mr. Young?
Oh, I'm on fire right now. I'm on fire because I knew this. All I wanted her to do was tell me the truth.
Okay. Has the man that Mr. Young refers to as the sugar daddy done anything for Sinai?
He does everything for her.
I wonder why.
I can't call you.
You know why you can't call me? Because you constantly cussing me out, calling me B's and F's and some of my guns, everything you could think of underneath your belt. I'm not gonna sit there and let nobody be disrespected. I don't disrespect you, you shouldn't disrespect me. If it's all about the child, when you call me, it should be about the baby and keep it as that.
Right, it
me
should
and you
be
are
like
no
that.
longer more.
Why
Like
well, then you
vinegar.
need to stop
It don't match.
texting me and telling me how much you miss me
Woman,
and how
please,
much
don't go there.
you
Don't go
want to
there with
marry
that.
me.
Don't go there with that. Marry you.
Yeah, I went there.
Yeah, I'm gonna marry you.
I went there.
Wait a minute now, I thought this was over and he had moved on.
Exactly.
We did
That's
move on,
reason-
and he
yeah.
came back into our lives in the middle of May, and we started having sex again. The last time was just 3 weeks ago.
Girl, please.
He was just at my house 5 days ago, but we didn't have sex because I had company.
Mr. Young, are you still going over her house?
No, I'm not going over her house, Your Honor. If I were going over her house,
Your Honor,
no,
I have a
never
text message from him.
Ron, let me see that.
Thank you.
This text message says, I would love to marry you if you could respect me and stop talking to me the way you do. If you did that, you would and could never lose me. The date is 6/13, June 13th at 2:28 p.m. This is a text from you.
This woman right here has been known to change stuff around. I
How
did not
can-
see that right there. That don't mean nothing. I could have said that months ago or wherever.
The
'cause we
date
was
is
planning
right
on having
there.
family. So I don't believe nothing she said. about
Okay,
that.
so now let's get to it. So did you say this? Let's take away the date and the time. Did you say this
No, I did not.
at some point?
No.
Go ahead and tell the truth.
I'm
Good.
telling you the truth. I did not write that to her on that date. No, I did
He's
not.
on-
Not on that
Oh.
date. I'm
His
just
girlfriend
asking,
is
did you
here.
write this to her? Period. Do you remember those words?
I write her lots of stuff before when we used to be together. When we used to be together. When we
That's
used to
right.
be
He
together. I
even
should
texted
send
me
her all
last
types of
night
stuff.
at my hotel.
I'm sorry, Miss
He
Nichols.
texted me last night and asked me, was I okay and what hotel I was at.
So, Mr. Young, when was the last time you were intimate with Miss Nichols?
Months ago. Like 3-4 months ago.
June 9th.
Months ago.
All right, I'd like to hear from your witness. Ma'am, please stand. State your name for the court.
Laquita Strode,
Miss Strode, you are Mr. Young's
girlfriend.
new
Yes,
girlfriend.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe Sine is his biological daughter?
Actually, Your Honor, all of the family is stating, oh, that's not your baby, but I'm the only one out of everybody that's giving her the benefit of the doubt and saying this may be your child.
Why do you feel that way?
Because to me, some of her features do resemble Sean. And if it's a chance that this baby could be his, he needs to know. And just not listen to what everybody else is saying, because I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm just trying to get the truth just like everybody else.
She's asserted that he's still trying to have a romantic relationship with her.
And if that's the situation, he can have her.
I will say this, Ms. Strode, because you speak so eloquently. But from what I witnessed today, your boyfriend is still right along with it.
That's what I said,
I mean, he is right in the thick of it with Miss Nichols. They don't
is.
miss a beat.
Absolutely.
And when he talks
Absolutely.
about this sugar daddy, his body language, he just gets enraged.
Absolutely.
Your Honor, I'm not a bad person. I even offered for try to get a DNA test when the baby was first born.
No, you
At the
didn't, 'cause
time,
they
she
would've
was
did it in the
upset.
hospital and I
She
would've
was-
been glad
She
to.
was upset because she had just had the baby and she was all upset. Like, how
Sean, you
gonna-
never
how you
mentioned that
gonna
in the
put me through
hospital.
this when I
Well,
just-
then why did you sign the birth certificate?
I don't recall signing on birth certificate, Your Honor.
Boy, are you crazy? His name is on there.
Let me see if I have it in the court
Just show
file.
me, I like to see.
Look at there.
I ain't write that.
Sine Emery Young, father's name Sean Dale Young Sr. That's you?
It's me.
They wouldn't put it on there if you didn't sign it.
You hear the key word they put on it because she told them. I
They
didn't
would
recall
not put
writing
your
nothing.
name on there if you did not sign it,
I
Mr.
didn't write
Young.
nothing. Miss Nichols.
So you say you didn't sign this
I
birth
don't
certificate.
recall signing nothing, ma'am.
And do you remember him participating in this part of the process, Ms. Nichols?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he go to the hospital?
Yes, he was there. That's him while she was still in the hospital.
That's a beautiful picture. You don't look like you have doubt in that picture.
Your Honor, her attitude and the way she treats me is bogus. That's why I want to make sure that I'm taking care of a child that's mine.
I think he's a big coward that doesn't want any more responsibility.
I'm just not going to take care of a kid that's not mine.
Moving on. You all ready for these results?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Nichols versus Young, when it comes to 13-month-old Sine Young, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Young, you are her father.
Surprise, surprise.
Look right here. And I see tears in your eyes because what do you feel in this moment?
Because, like, his dad wasn't in his life. So he should know that how I would feel, how his mom felt. break the cycle.
Now we know this is your biological daughter.
Yes, ma'am. That's what
You
I'm here.
can't keep going on the way you going. This little girl is gonna grow up with all of this negative energy surrounding her and fighting and arguing back and forth, and she doesn't deserve that. I want you all to start talking about and figuring out how you do this together without ending up together. Ms. Hamm, you are here today to prove to Mr. Kisner that he fathered your 11-month-old son, Zayden.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're joined by your mother, who says that she is tired of stepping up to play daddy whenever Mr. Kisner decides to run out of your lives.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kisner, you've given everything up to be with Ms. Hamm, but now you claim her promiscuous and foggy past have caused you to doubt that you fathered her son.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Hamm, what does Mr. Kisner do for your son?
Well, he may be there physically for Zayden, but he's not there financially. He doesn't have a steady job. He doesn't do as much as I would want him to do.
Have you been there for the child, Mr. Kisner?
Yes, I haven't been there, but yes, I have.
Miss Willin, you said you're tired of playing daddy because you got to step up.
Yeah, he is there right now, but he's 11 months old. He wasn't there for the birth. And as far as a baby shower or anything like that, his family didn't want to be a part of that because they didn't think that Zayden was his.
So, Mr. Kisner, you admit that you try to be there physically when you can.
Yes.
Why haven't you supported the child financially at all?
I'm trying my best, Your Honor. I do not have a steady job, that's right. But I'm trying my best to be there for Zayden, just doing everything I can to just live where I'm living right now, and I am so grateful.
And you seem emotional right now. What are you feeling?
Well, Your Honor, I betrayed my family. My family spent $200 for me to get back home, and I was
When you
very
say you
sick at the
betrayed
time.
your family, what do you mean by that?
Well, I came back home and my family was telling me, don't go back there. No, you're here now. We got you back home. Don't do that. And I just decided to go back there.
Why is that a
It's my child.
betrayal?
I just feel that's what my family thought.
They don't want you to go back because they don't believe that Zayden is your biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
And why are there doubts?
At the time of his birth, I was showing my family his photographs that Ashley had sent, and they tell me he doesn't look like me.
You know what? I don't agree with that. We have photos right here, and you put them side to side, and they look exactly alike.
Which photos did you bring? May I see those, please, Jerome? What are these photos of, Ms. Hamm?
It's Zayden and him when they were both babies.
So these are photos of Mr. Kisner when he was a baby and of Zayden as a baby.
Yes.
Probably around the same age.
And you think they look alike. There's a resemblance.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
But your family, Mr. Kisner, says there is no resemblance.
Correct. But I also have my doubts because she has been unfaithful.
Give me specifics. Tell me exactly why you doubt. You say she's been unfaithful. Specifically how?
Well, Your Honor, she slept with my close friend.
Oh.
I've known since I was little.
Did you sleep with his good friend, Ms. Hamm?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Why would you sleep with his good friend?
Well, we were dating for a couple weeks, and his friend had broken up with my friend. He just wasn't there for me at the time. I felt like we were both partying, and he wasn't talking as much.
So you weren't really getting along with Mr. Kisner that well?
No.
You felt like he wasn't stepping up to the plate as a boyfriend or
No.
doing what you need?
So
why
I broke
is
up
it you
with
chose
him.
to date?
I broke up with him, and then
Why his friend, though?
I don't know. We went to a hotel for one day, and then I picked him up the next day, and I told him the truth, and he still wanted everything to do with me. And
So you felt awful about it, and you immediately told Mr. Kisner.
yes, that was the next day.
And he said he still wanted to be in a relationship with you.
Yes.
Is that true, Mr. Kisner?
Yes, that's true, Your Honor. I believe that Miss Hamm could show me change, and, you know, she did. She really stepped up as a mother and left all that life behind. So
She did.
She did.
So, Ms. Hamm, were you with anyone else?
No. Not besides his friend, and then that's it. I got taken advantage of at a party, and that was in like September.
And
Your Honor,
where she
can I
was
please
at.
say something?
Yes, ma'am.
She was in a bad place before she had Zayden. That's why I was so worried.
Well, when
was
she talks about going to
self-medicating, she
hotel
was doing
rooms
drugs.
with men and drinking and doing drugs, you know,
That
I
was
have to
one
ask the
day.
difficult questions. When you're drinking and doing drugs, do you truly remember everything you've done?
Yes, I do.
You do.
I know what I did, and I told him exactly what happened the next day.
They are both in my home right now, and I believe that Mr. Kisner is insecure, and she is also insecure. They're very young. They're playing house. With these results, that's why we need this.
They even playing house. You got to have a house to play house.
They're playing house
They
in
at
my
your
house.
And this is the exact reason, right, Jerome, that we talk about in this courtroom. I tell young people all the time, you don't have any business having sex and engaging in activities that produce human beings that you can't take care of when you can't take care of yourself.
Your Honor, I agree.
The real world now.
Right.
Yeah.
The fact that since she's been a mother, she has been an amazing mom, a completely different person. You know, we made that choice as a family to move out of state to get her away from friends, and that way that life could never come up again. She can start new. But they both have an opportunity here to start fresh, to start new, and put the past behind them. But it has to be on their expense and not me and my husband and my other 2 kids. You know, I'm working 2 40-hour-a-week jobs just to support everybody. It's on my shoulders.
That is not fair to you.
And I am doing it because she didn't have her biological father. I made a choice when she was young that I wasn't gonna have a bad life for her. So my husband and me have been raising her together since she was 3 months old. So she is his, not biologically, but in any way that counts. So they have to make a choice. If they are gonna put that in the past and be a family and move on positively, or if he is gonna throw that in her face that Zayden is not his, because never once in the 20 years that I've been with my husband has he ever said, Ashley's not mine, I'm not gonna do this.
And that is admirable, I must say. So, Ms. Willin, do you believe Mr. Kisner is Zayden's biological father?
100%, I don't have any doubt.
You
I
do?
just don't. He's a great guy. He's great with Zayden. He's a great father. They just need that direction. They need that push. They need that oomph.
Mr. Kisner, is your doubt because your family doesn't think he's yours, or do you personally truly believe that this child is not yours?
Your Honor, I have so much doubt.
I don't believe that, because when I was around him in the beginning for 6 months, he was, you know, all about Ashley's pregnancy. And every time he had doubt was when he came back from his family's house. Okay?
So you feel like he was
wanna
buying
contribute-
in, he was trying to step into this role of
Yes,
father, and then
and it
when
just
he'd go
seemed-
home,
Yes.
he'd come back and it'd be like you have to start all over again.
Yes, Your Honor. We need the results for this test. This is why it's gonna go back and forth, okay? When they're in fight mode, when I come home after 19 hours, this is the fight mode that I get. I get he said, she said, this is, that is. What it is I am supporting this family, okay? I am taking away from my younger children to support this family, okay?
And Your Honor-
And they need
And you know
pull
what
it
the
together.
truth is, Ms. Willin, I really don't know why you're doing it, because I've been asking Mr. Kisner, why does he doubt
I doubt.
that this child
We
is
were
his,
having
and you have
sex
not
every
given me
day
one
without
reason.
a condom. So that's why I know. I know what I did and I know what I didn't do. We were having
Is it-
sex every day without a condom.
Your Honor, I agree. I agree. Thing is that she would take off on me and leave me without knowledge of where she would go, what would actually be going on. The stories would not match up.
So you
would
feel
think
like
everything.
she would go places and not tell you where she is, and you thought she was cheating?
Yes.
But did you ever find any proof that she was cheating? Did you see her
I
with someone?
did not.
Someone tell you they saw her?
Well,
What about everything was fine for 6 months and Ashley was gonna stay with you and have the baby when we moved to Florida and we were gonna send for both of you, but that lasted 3 days. I had to go pick up Ashley because this is the first time I'm hearing that he doubted that Zayden was his. Okay? So for 6 months, everything's fine, but the reason why I had to go pick her up is because he was actually out all that night.
So
And
during
they got
these
into
times,
another fight.
Mr.
and then
Kisner,
that was
during
it.
these times that you say Ms. Hamm disappeared or she didn't tell you where she was and you didn't know where she was there ever an occasion when she came back where facts were revealed to you that she had maybe been intimate with someone else or had a relationship with someone else?
maybe over texting, yes, and then there was also...
You don't get pregnant through the text.
Oh, okay, I understand that, but
She's texting, so she's flirting. Well, you can't get pregnant like that.
No.
What else?
there's doubt right there.
Because
Your
you feel
Honor.
like the texting and the flirting may be indicative of a larger relationship that could be going on.
Exactly.
What else?
Well, whenever I landed in Florida the second time, I was on Ashley's phone and I found proof that she was talking to somebody else and it was saved in her pictures. I don't know if she knew or not, but she would be talking about she's got booty for decades to this other male.
You would see in her phone evidence of sexual conversations she was having with other men.
Pretty much. I mean, like innuendos.
Is there anything else you found? Anything else you found that would in some way suggest to the reasonable person that perhaps Ms. Hamm had been sleeping with somebody else?
Well, I was talking to one of her other male friends because they were almost together all the time too. She was going with them, going to places I don't know of. She would tell me, yeah, but is that really where she went? I don't know. She would come home 2 to 3, 4 hours later and just would tell me the same story. Oh, we went to go get something to eat. Well, we live in a small town, Your Honor. It's about 1.5 miles down the road to go get something to eat. Either way, even though it's a small
You
town,
have to go to Kenosha or Antioch, and that's far.
which is 1.5 miles away
No, it's not.
from where I live.
So,
and she would
all
have
right.
the mail come pick her up from my house.
Ms. Hamm, let me ask you, because Mr. Kisner is obviously having trouble talking about and explaining what his doubt really is, and yet he seems to truly have that. Do you know of something that would cause him to doubt whether or not Zayden was his biological child? Did you have sex with anyone else? Did a circumstance present itself that would make things seem a little unclear as to whether or not he truly is this child's biological father?
I mean, before we started dating, I had sat him down. I was like, listen, I've been through a lot. I have been with cheaters, and I was a cheater because I was cheated on. I would do the same thing. I let him know who I was before he had anything to do with me. I laid down everything, and he still wanted to be with me. He still wanted everything to do with me. So I think maybe the things that I've told him I've done to other people, he's gonna put that in his head. I mean, who wouldn't?
So, Mr. Kisner, have you developed a bond with Zayden?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're very emotional about this child. Why is it you're so attached to this child when you say your family doesn't know if this child's yours and you don't know if this
Because
child's
he
yours?
deep down knows.
He knows.
But I still have my doubts because of what's went on during our relationship.
I think it's time for the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Hamm versus Kisner, when it comes to 11-month-old Zayden Hamm, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Kisner, you are not the father. Obviously, there were some facts left out of your testimony. Do you know who Zayden's father is, since it's been determined that it is not?
Really not.
You don't really know?
I just don't get it. I was with him every day. Now it's just a mystery, and I have to live with that myself.
Could it be the friend's child?
He is blonde hair and blue-eyed with
Well,
like
that
me.
doesn't. Let's not go on physical looks. Did you use protection when you slept with his friend?
Yes.
You did. Was there any other man besides Mr. Kisner you were having unprotected sex with?
All I know is that time at the party. I remember at the end, and I freaked out and stopped, and then that's when he was trying to pick me up, and my phone died.
Were you drinking and doing drugs that night?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I mean, I'm there. I'm gonna be there. Even if the father decides to show up, I'm gonna be there.
Well, Mr. Kisner, your testimony, your remarks, and your intentions are admirable. They are. But standing here in this emotional moment, Mr. Kisner, and saying, I'm going to step up and be there for this young woman and this young child, I know good and well, too, young people your age, you don't even possess the maturity level to operate appropriately in these situations, and that's evident by what you're dealing with right now. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You're going to do a whole bunch of things you haven't done up to this point. Mr. Ross, you say your estranged wife is denying that you are the father of her 15-month-old son, Damon. She claims the man she's currently living with is her son's biological father, but you hope today's DNA results will help you save and reunite your family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Nañez, you believe today's results will prove what you already know, that your husband is not the father of your son, and after the DNA results, you want him to move on. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ross, why are you so positive that you're Damon's father?
Today, I'm here, Judge, because my wife, Taryn, denies me my son, Damon. I know he's my son. We're married. We've been separated. After today, I really hope that this will help reunite our family.
And Ms. Nañez, you say the baby's not your husband's.
No, we've been separated for 3 years, and it's just not. I'm 100% sure that it's Natavius's.
All right, so you were married, you were happily married.
Yes, Your Honor.
For how long before things got rocky?
2, maybe 3 months, and then everything.
Oh, 2-3 months?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So after 2 or 3 months of being married, things got rocky.
Yes, after I had our first child, I was never in the mood, never wanted sex, and I kept on telling him that he should just sleep with somebody else, since he was always complaining that I wouldn't give it up to him since I was his wife, and it was my wifely duties to do so.
Oh. So you're saying after having your child, your first child, you were not feeling being very sexually active?
Yes.
And so you basically told him, just go have sex with somebody else?
Yes.
Did you do that?
I tried, but never did.
So you didn't. So how does the marriage get on the outs so that you end up separated?
He asked my best friend to have sex with him, and she told me.
Did you ask your wife's best friend to have sex with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ross! And what does she say?
She said, yeah. She came over, and then...
And then did you try to have sex with her?
Tried, but nothing ever happened.
And so once you heard that, you were done?
Yes.
Because you told him to go have sex with somebody else, but I don't mean my best friend. How long had you been separated before you found out you were pregnant with Damon?
3 years.
2 years. I took her to the appointment.
During that separation, were you still intimate?
Yes, Your Honor, we were.
All right, so you were still having sex throughout the separation?
Yes.
All right. And so at the time you found out you were pregnant, were you sleeping with anybody else at that time?
Yes.
Who was that?
Natavius.
All right, and that's Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
So you believe that's who Damon's father is?
Yes.
But you let Mr. Ross take you to the hospital.
Natavius was at work that morning, and I let him go to work because I didn't want him to lose his job.
So when you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell?
I told both of them.
All right. You told both men I'm pregnant and both of you could be the father.
Yes.
Did both of them accept that fact, or did they say, no, I'm not the father?
They both accepted it.
And so now, Mr. Ross, when you find out that Miss Nañez is pregnant, your wife, and you know she's having sex with another man at that time?
No, I did not know she was having sex with Nañez at that time.
So he thinks you're gonna work it out, and you say, no, you with somebody else.
Yes.
Are you cheating on your boyfriend with your husband?
How
does that work?
She puts it that it's technically not cheating since we're still married.
Okay. So when you find out your wife is pregnant, how'd you feel?
I felt excited. We were about to have another baby, extend the family, try and, kindle
and
everything.
you think, you're already trying to rekindle the relationship, and now this baby is going to be the thing that really brings everything back together.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Nañez, you say, I knew from the get-go it wasn't his baby.
Yes.
But how do you know that?
The blood type, really. Natavius is O negative, just like Damon, and Andrew is O positive.
But
Damon
before
looks
that,
like
when
that.
you were just finding out you were pregnant, you say you told both of them.
Yes.
So is it safe to say that you didn't know and you thought it could be either one?
Yes.
Okay. So throughout the time you were pregnant, who went to the doctor's appointments with you?
Andrew did.
Mr. Ross, your husband.
Yes.
You went to all the doctor's appointments?
Not all the doctor's appointments. There's times that I did ask to go, but Nañez went instead.
Oh. I'm still confused as to how you've come to the conclusion that it's Mr. Anderson's baby. Can you take me back to the night when you say you conceived?
Somewhere around my birthday.
Okay. Tell me what happened.
I had sex on my birthday with both of them.
With both men?
Yes.
At the same time?
No, not at the same time.
No.
No.
Who did you have sex with first?
Andrew.
Mr. Ross, your husband?
Yes. And later in the night, I had sex with Natavius later, more than once.
So then in the morning you had sex with your husband, and then later on in the afternoon, the evening, you were with Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
On your birthday?
Yes.
So if that's the case, how do we ever decide who's the child's father, because you slept with both men in the same day? Unprotected?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you basically got you a double feature that day.
Yes, Your Honor, she did.
So the truth is, you really don't know. So can you take me to the day Damon was born? Mr. Ross, you were there?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, so you at the hospital?
I was the one that took her to the hospital.
All right, so the day Damon was born, you go to the hospital, husband and wife pull up, go in, you all about to have a baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who else was there?
Nañez showed up 30 minutes before she...
Mr. Anderson came?
Yes.
Who went in the delivery room?
We both was in the delivery room.
Jerome, have you ever heard of such?
How many cases have we done?
Almost 1,000.
This is a first.
The first. Both of you all went in the delivery room.
Yes, Your Honor.
Both men went in the delivery room.
Yes, Your Honor.
Both possible fathers were in the delivery room.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who held your hand?
Nañez did.
Natavius.
So Mr. Anderson held your hand.
Yes.
And what were you doing?
I was tending to Ezra.
The other
Yes.
child?
Yes.
And so you invited both men up, or you just...
No, Andrew actually called Natavius for him to come up there.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did you just say your husband called your boyfriend to tell him to come up there so he could be there when the baby was born?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is going on here?
I just called him to let him know that I was taking Taryn to the hospital because she is supposedly in.
But why? It's your wife. It's your wife. You think it's your baby. Why even call?
Because it's the right thing to do. He was there. He's been there, so.
Well, during that time, he also had a girlfriend who
had a girlfriend?
He had a girlfriend.
Oh, so you showing out for your girlfriend. So who signed the birth certificate?
Nañez did.
Now, usually, in this court, we know that when a child is born within a marriage, usually the husband is presumed to be the father.
Correct, Your Honor.
And is the person that gets put on the birth certificate as father.
I wasn't there to waive my rights, so I don't see how he was even able to put his name on there.
What happened? Do you remember? Were you conscious, Ms. Nañez? How did he get to put his name on there when you have a husband?
When doing the paperwork, I quite literally don't remember. I was on a lot of heavy medication, so it's a bit of a blur when doing the birth certificate paperwork.
So you don't really know how the name got on there?
No, he did Nañez did the paperwork. I just signed it.
He sure did.
Yeah.
All right, I have heard a lot of information about Mr. Anderson, Mr. Nañez Anderson, and I want to hear from him for myself. Jerome, please escort Mr. Anderson into the courtroom. He is here.
Yes, sir. Come with me. We're going to have you go right up to the witness stand next to the judge. Watch yourself going up the steps.
Well, thank you for joining us today. Mr. Anderson, can you describe your current relationship with Ms. Nañez?
Yes, Your Honor. As of right now, we are not together.
You're not?
No, ma'am.
Do you believe you're Damon's father?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. Not only do I share a bond with my son, I honestly believe that we look alike and he looks like many different people in my family.
And that's why you believe you're the father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any other reasons? Has Ms. Nañez told you you're the father?
On separate occasions, there's been a couple of times where she has agreed that Damon is mine.
So the day you were in the hospital, I need to know from you. Do you know she's still sleeping with her husband at that time?
At that time, no.
You didn't know?
No, not at that time.
Oh, so that's why you executed the paperwork, because in your mind, she's separated from her husband. We're together now. I'm the father. I sign.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Anderson, what is your relationship like with Damon? He's 15 months, beautiful little boy. What's your relationship like?
I take care of him every day. We play all throughout the day.
So you are the father figure to Damon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does Damon call you Dad? Does he say Dad to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does he say Dad to you too?
Whenever he's around, yes.
So, before I go to the results, Ms. Nañez, do you still believe deeply that Mr. Anderson is Damon's biological father?
Yes, I do.
And why do you believe that?
Damon looks more like his family members than anything.
Do you feel like Mr. Ross is claiming to be the father because he really wants to keep you and keep your marriage and your relationship together?
Yes.
Yeah.
You say yes?
It's been that way since we got together. He's never given us a chance to have a relationship. That's mainly the reason why I called.
Well, because they're still married and they're still sleeping together.
I understand that too, but...
She's with another guy right now too.
You have another boyfriend now, Miss Nañez?
Yes.
You done weaved a web. This is a lot going on.
Yes.
Before I go to these results, is there any possibility that neither man?
No, there's no other possibility other than these two men right here.
All right, Jerome, I'm ready for the results.
Okay. There you go.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Ross versus Nañez, pertaining to whether Mr. Ross or Mr. Anderson is the father of 15-month-old Damon Nañez. It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Ross. You are the father, Mr. Ross. You were correct.
Thank you.